Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. I'm here in game, just kind of messing around. I've spent a couple hours looking for the Idris to do the Idris mission, and I kind of have had no luck. So I figured I'd come on here and kind of talk about the event a little bit and some other things that has been happening in the community just to get up to speed because a lot's been going on with the game recently. It seems kind of quiet in the community for all of the stuff that's happening, honestly, and I want to talk about it. So to kick things off, with the Idris event, so there has been a bit of controversy with it based on the way that people have been playing the event. And if you guys don't know, CIG is holding an event where they have a Idris with a full interior so you can do FPS combat on the inside of the ship. The goal of the event is to capture the Idris and sit in the pilot seat for as long as possible. And if you accomplish this, you will win an Idris M. There will also be devs on the Idris defending it that you can get in a firefight with. Of course, everyone on the server will know that the event is going on and they can come and they can attack you. They can try to take the ship over from you so they can, of course, win the prize as well. Now, the controversy kind of stems from players kind of using in-game mechanics to get around the time limit. I've heard some people have flown very far away, so just kind of in the middle of space where no one can get to them. Some people have landed in armistice zones. A different mechanics that are available in game right now. Players are trying to take advantage of to be able to get the longest time. So CIG recently updated the rules of the event. You now have to be in combat for it to count towards the time. And I think that is obviously gets around a lot of the issues with this event. But the second or more major issue with the event is that, of course, people have had a hard time actually getting the Idris, finding the Idris, like myself. A lot of people have failed to actually get to the Idris. A lot of people are saying that NPCs are crashing the Idris into planets. It's just been a whole host of problems that I think is essentially made worse because, of course, it's the weekend and a lot of CAG staff probably aren't in the office to fix a lot of the stuff that's going on. And that's kind of the hard part when CAG releases an event for the weekend, which makes sense because a lot of people are going to be off from work for the weekend. So, obviously they're going to have more time to play the game and get involved in the event. But the only problem with that is if there's an issue with the event, then there aren't as much CIG staff to fix it. There's also less CIG staff to actually be in the event. Of course, because the, out of the office. So basically, I think CIG had, good plans with this event. I think they just kind of made it a little too complicated. And it's kind of a similar thing with the initial Van Duel Mass event. The game is in alpha right now, and it does have bugs. The full systems that they want to have in the game, in the final version of the game, they're not in right now. So players can kind of circumvent a lot of different mechanics. And so when you have an event that is a PvP event, a competitive event, if you don't have all of those mechanics in it for it to be a fair competition right from the beginning, you really can't blame players for trying to find ways to make their life easier. And I think CIG's solution to the issue by just saying, okay, you have to be in combat to have the time count towards the competition is a good solution. But ultimately, I think It was an interesting decision to tie uh, an Idris giveaway to this event. I think they should have just made it an event where you go and an NPC Idris is spawn. You go and you capture that Idris, kind of like the 890 jump mission, but instead of an 890 jump, it's an Idris, and then everybody could play the event, and you don't have to worry about any of the issues that they're currently running into, because most of the player base, in my opinion, they want to see the Idris interior. They want to, check out the hangar and do all of this and that. And the 890 jump mission is very similar to that. Have a bunch of AI spawn on the Idris, you attack it, and I don't believe the 890 jump in the 890 jump mission is flyable, but the Idris is flyable. Again, if I think I think if they made it like the 890 jump mission, a lot of the issues that they've been having, they wouldn't have. CIG has been, talking about it, the golden ticket event, but in my opinion, it's not really like that. I mean, even in the golden ticket event, there was, of course, one or two lucky people that, got successful, but the average person, that's just not realistic. And to create an event around, you know, the possibility of one or two people being successful, that just doesn't feel good. You have a community of millions. I think CIG could obviously do the event differently. Again, if it was like the 890 jump mission, I feel like everybody would do it, and it would be easy to recommend. But if it's a situation where the stakes are high, people are, uh, trying to be creative, trying to circumvent mechanics, where the AI is crashing into planets where, it's the weekend and CIG devs have to be involved in it. I feel like that's just too much. It's unnecessary. I feel like if they just made it like the 890 jump mission, go, you board it, you kill the NPCs, you get to fly it around for a little bit. I feel like everybody would do that. Or even if they made it so you couldn't fly it around, you just complete the mission, but instead of an 890 jump, it's an Idris. I feel like a lot of people would be really happy with that. You see a lot of people just checking out the interior, a lot of people fighting waves of NPCs off, and a lot of the community would engage with it. But the way that the event is now, it's kind of just another example of this game is an alpha and it's not ready for the prime time yet. And that's unfortunate. I feel like CIG keeps doing this to themselves, where they are very ambitious with what they want to do, and it shines a light on the broken parts of the game. The same thing could be said for Siege Vorsen. In theory, an amazing event that would be really exciting, but it exposed a lot of the issues with the AI, the FPS combat, the event mission system, where people would be running through the event and finish it, and people not know how far along the mission has been progressed. So I think that CIG in the future, they need to take more of this stuff into consideration, how this event is actually going to affect things. I mean, I know they changed recently the way they do Evocati, so now the patch notes will be published, so we know what is inside of the Evocati batch, and the Evocati players can talk about the patch. But I think, potentially even testing events with Evocati is a good idea, because Evocati is community members, not developers, so they don't really have those rose-colored glasses on. They are used to the bugs, they're used to the broken things, and I think they could probably give the devs good feedback if an event makes sense or not. And obviously, Evocati is still on the NDA, so even though they can talk about the patch notes, they wouldn't be able to talk about an event that they're testing. So I think in the future, if CIG starts testing events in Evocati, they can have the player base come back and say, yeah, I don't think that's such a great idea. I think maybe you should do it like this and really take that advice into consideration. Now, do I think this Idris event is a bad event? No. I just think that it is once again one of those events that shines a light on how broken this game is. And Seiji doesn't need to keep putting out events that do that. Events like Jumptown are great because it's just chaos and it's simple, the stakes are low, and a lot of people do Jumptown often. And Xenothreat is good because again, the stakes are low. You just have a lot of players come in and shoot NPC stuff. And yeah, I mean, you look at a game like Helldivers 2 that is blowing up right now. It's just players fighting AI in a PvE situation, and it's drawing a lot of attention. A lot of people are enjoying it. Star Citizen really needs to nail down their AI and their PvE content. PvP is great, and the PvP community is really good because having a strong PvP community is good for the longevity of a game, because the PvP community are going to be players that are very invested in the game. They spent time getting good at the mechanics, and they're going to be people that are highly invested in the game. But you need that large population of players to draw in those PvP players. And so the two groups of people kind of go hand in hand. And I've seen this with, players who are pirates and whatnot, talking about the importance of piracy and, the game needs piracy and all this, that, and the other. But in reality, the game needs a big population. It needs a healthy population. It needs cargo haulers. It needs salvagers. You can't pirate no one. You need, if you want to say piracy is important, then you also have to say that industrial gameplay is important, that cargo hauling is important, that every other gameplay is important, because there's no one to pirate if there's no player base there to engage with, to actually play with. So I know the PvP community is very excited about different possibilities, X, Y, and Z, but Seiji really needs to nail down the core mechanics of this game first and focus on that first. And that kind of comes to the second talking point. There was a question asked on Spectrum, I think it was, where someone was basically saying, is this just a space combat game? It's moving away from Chris Roberts' initial vision of this space sim. And I think that if you look at what Seiji is doing with master modes, I think obviously they're trying to appeal to that wide audience at the same time, like what I was just talking about. But that's why I say it's a balance. The content needs to draw in a large player base, but the mechanics need to draw in a deep player base. If you draw in so basically how it works is that there are two sides to a coin: the content and the mechanics of any game. Okay, the content needs to draw in a player who is who's interested in many different things. The content needs to be able to draw in just about anybody. Okay, somebody who is interested in combat, cargo, chill gameplay, whatever. So there is the content in the game for them. Okay, this is, in my opinion, the formula to making a good game. The content drives the player base. It drives traffic to the game. Okay, somebody sees what you can do in a game like this, and they're like, I want to do that. They pick up the game, they buy the game, they play the game. Now, the mechanics is what keeps them there. Okay, it's what the PvP community can really sink their teeth into. They can get good at the game, and they can say, I did this X, Y, and Z. Feel some type of accomplishment. So you bring players in with what the potential of what they can do, and you keep them there by showing them how good they can be. So you have that low barrier to entry, high ceiling. So the concern with master modes and a lot of the the things that's happening in the game now is that you know, the mechanics are becoming a little bit more simple, and the content is becoming less diverse. The content is focused too much on combat, and I think that obviously CIG is doing a lot to make to kind of change that. You know, we're getting cargo missions, but I think that it part of it is their marketing and their publicity and whatnot. A lot of what this game looks like to people from the outside, to people who don't play it on a regular basis, is you get in this game and you shoot at AI or you shoot at other players, piracy and griefing and stuff like that. And for a lot of people, that is kind of the most popular thing to do. I think I saw a poll on Reddit where, you know, someone asked if the game didn't have any bugs, what would you be doing in the game? And like 50% of people said combat. And the second highest, I think, was trading. But I kind of feel like, you know, that's not really surprising. The CAG doesn't really do a good job of selling the idea that you play this game to realize this fantasy that you have to live a second life in this space universe. For the most part, you look at the trailers, especially the ones that are going on YouTube right now. CAG's, you know, spending a lot of money on ads on YouTube and whatnot, and all of those ads is just people shooting at stuff, because that's kind of like the mainline thing you can do in the game right now. Obviously, again, that's not true. You know, you're salvaging, your cargo hauling, but they bring out something like refueling, and there's no missions for it. You know, they do an update to medical, and there's no missions for it. You know, we're now getting cargo missions. I think they did a good job with salvage. We had salvage missions right off of the bat. But having that strong PvE experience, and I've said this in videos before, every time you bring out a new profession, racing, anything, it needs to have missions tied to it. And again, you know, racing does have missions tied to it, but doesn't make any money. And I guess that third pillar is gonna have to be the economy. And you know, I don't know what CAG's plans are for the economy. They have been keeping it very close to their chest. Now they've been talking about story content. I think I've heard people talking about, you know, rumors going around that there's, you know, the persistent universe is going to have a story that you play through. And then, of course, this other part is the end game. Again, that's a lot of rumors. I don't know if any of that's confirmed, but I don't know. I agree with the person saying that the game is, you know, evolving past the original vision, and obviously some people are going to be super excited about those things, and some people are going to be less excited about those things. The interesting thing about, you know, this game and its potential is that anybody could imagine it being what they want it to be. As soon as CIG, you know, locks down what this game actually is, there is going to be like a waking up moment for some people that the game isn't what they initially thought it was going to be or wanted it to be, and some of that potential shrinks down into reality. I don't think the game is at that point yet. I think that you know, obviously it's going to get closer to that point this year and next year, because we're getting the mechanics that, you know, CIG always promised. Finally, you know, all of the stuff that we saw at CitizenCon last year. I think it's a very interesting time to be, you know, a member of the community. Exciting time because of all of the progress that's happening in the game. We know that this year is set to be insane with content. And I feel like this is just kind of the quiet before the storm. Honestly, this year is supposed to be, you know, huge. And obviously, there's going to be some uncertainty about that. I think CAG is doing a pretty good job with Star Citizen Live and aUEC explaining what's coming around the corner. And now people are just waiting for CAG to actually deliver. And that waiting period, and again, I've been enjoying aUEC, I've been enjoying Star Citizen Live. Before, in the past, it was all about potential. This game could be this game could be that. Now we know what this game is going to be. Let's see if it's gonna work. It's kind of I don't think it's like a make it or break it type year, but I think it's definitely gonna be one of those years where, you know, people want to see what a more finished Star Citizen looks like. But yeah, what do you guys think? Are you guys enjoying this event? Have you guys captured the Idris? Are you excited about the new updates coming out? Do you think Star Citizen is a space combat game versus a space simulator? What do you guys think about griefers? I know CIG has, you know, tried to more clearly define the line of what a griefer is. They, you know, kind of want to create those mechanics in the game so there's consequences for certain actions in certain star systems. Remember, Pyro's coming out, and the whole reason for that is so that you can do some of that stuff still in that system. But again, I make these videos because I want to talk to you guys about what's going on in the community, what's going on in the game. So yeah, that's gonna be it for me in this video, you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for all of your support on the videos, liking, commenting. It really means a lot to me. You know, you guys enjoy the videos, and you know, that's why I do it. So thank you. But like I always said at the end of these videos, you guys, like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Salute.